He's with the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. Thank you for coming back, Hussein.
Chris.
It's great to have you here. Make your case. What do you think about it? Stick to one topic here if you can, please. You only get 3 minutes. Hussein, Saddam Hussein, how do we deal with him as Americans?
I mean, I think what Michael just said is all very reasonable. Let me add something else. I mean, the whole discourse you've been having today is completely contradictory. You're hearing that the army is going to rise up against Saddam. At the same time, the opposition forces are going to lead the charge. Those two things can't happen together. And there's no reason to believe that the opposition really wants to join this. In fact, all three major opposition groups have said in the early part of this month, please don't do this. We don't want you to do this. Now we're twisting their arms, and unsourced sources in the New York Times are saying one of them might be kind of changing their minds. But on public, and as far as we can tell, they're all against this.
Well, we're giving lots of money to the, he's saying we're giving lots of money to a group called the Iraqi National Congress that's based somewhere here.
Well, they have no presence in Iraq. I mean, they're not there. They're here. They have no presence. There are three armed Iraqi opposition groups, the Supreme Council of the Islamic Revolution, Shiite group, and two Kurdish groups. And all three of them said, please don't do this. And if one of them even changes their mind, you know, there's no evidence that they can succeed in overthrowing Saddam Hussein. As far as the military goes, if they, you know, we've tried that and it hasn't worked before. There's no evidence that they would particularly want to join us. And would they not also want to have weapons of mass destruction as a deterrent?
Speaking of which, I want to ask you two scenarios. They're very simple, speculative questions, but they're not hard to imagine. One, Israel gets hit by a Scud missile attack by Saddam Hussein, dumping biological weapons right into Tel Aviv. What would you say at that moment? Do you say you were wrong in not taking this guy out before?
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, if there's some kind of mad, unprovoked attack, obviously but that's not going to happen because MAD works. Mutual assured destruction works. We know that. Iraq
did what about the other scenario?
Iraq did have a chemical weapons capability in '91. They didn't use it. Why? Because they knew they'd be blown away. So
well, what about the other scenario, Hussein? Suppose he does it sneakily through a third party, gives it to a bunch of crazies like Al-Qaeda and says, here's the weapon, we go use it in New York. How do we get them then if we can't prove it?
I mean, look, Iraq has no history of doing that. If you look at the annual State Department terrorism reports, the only thing Iraq is accused of in the past 8 years is supporting an Iranian opposition group that shoots Iranian military officials. Okay. They don't do, that's not their style.
So much to talk about. Thank you very much. Have a happy holiday.
Thanks,
Hussein
Chris,
Ibish up next.
Merry Christmas.
Newsweek's Fareed